Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast. We're coming to you live from Coyle Creative in downtown Wilkes-Barre. I'm Rich Howells. I'm the founder and editor of NEPA Scene. Unfortunately, John could not make it. His brother and his wife had their child today, so he's obviously visiting them and all that. And we also want to mention that our hearts and thoughts are with Brittany Boot tonight. They have been since the other night. Her father was senselessly taken from us way too soon, and they're still investigating that. So there's no further details to say right now. I ask that you respect the family and everything like that. But we were just talking about her last week and how much we miss her. And I saw her at the Steamtown Music Awards on Thursday, and she couldn't wait to come back on and at least co-host a couple more shows here and there, depending on her schedule and stuff like that. So the whole thing is just really, really bums us out, and we're really so sorry to hear about it. So. Best wishes to Brittany and her family tonight. So tonight we are here with Nick Coyle and Aaron Fink, founding members of Lifer, a.k.a. Strangers with Candy. Remember their original name?
Driver.
Right? Go down the list.
Stardog Champion.
Yeah.
So they are getting together for a reunion show this Friday, September 21st at the Scranton Iron Furnaces with three amazing bands. We're going to talk about that. So we're talking about their big break on MTV many years ago, revisiting Lifer's music all this time later, Aaron's solo work, and Nick joining Coyle and forming Death Valley Dreams, and much, much more. So if you are nostalgic for the late 90s, early 2000s, you're a nu metal fan, you're a fan of these guys, you've seen them live before, you were at the reunion show, whatever the case may be, please leave your questions and comments below. Tell us your story about seeing these guys live, or that particular era, or what terrible fashion choices you made in that era, like myself.
And us. We were talking about that last night. We all used to wear these big baggy ass pants and
big ass Janko jeans.
The Janko jeans, yeah.
Everything was oversized. Yeah. Shirts and stuff.
Big ball necklaces.
Yeah. I'm still wondering why we all. I had chain on my wallet. I'm sure you guys had those.
I did too for a long time. I just canned that 3 or 4 years ago. I finally. I think probably not quite when I was 40, but I was like, I can't be 40 and wear it. That's why not. Gotta draw a line.
Yeah, absolutely.
40 was the line.
Yeah. So we're going to have a good time tonight, so make sure you leave your questions and comments. The show is so much better when you guys participate. First, before we get into our conversation, we want to plug our sponsors real quick. Beer Boys in Wilkes-Barre, right down the street from us. Tonight is their glass night, so you can stop down for 4 different varieties of Pumpkin from Southern Tier Brewing Company. So if you're one of those basic bitches like myself that like pumpkin and everything, this is the way to go. Pumpkin is definitely one of my personal favorites. And they gave us 3 different kinds. One of them I really want to try. This one is the cold pressed coffee pumpkin. Chai tea infused pumpkin. That's the one I really wanted to try. It sounds interesting. And just regular pumpkin, which is excellent in itself.
Do they just have beer anymore?
No, I don't think it's available anymore.
Just
I don't know if they
beer?
make that. Yeah.
Like Duff beer? Yeah.
That's the funny thing is I was never into beer until the whole craft beer thing started.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
Really?
oh, beer can actually taste good, because I never really liked the taste, except for maybe Yingling I would drink on occasion. I liked Yingling, but was never really into it.
Yeah, the cheapest, the
I
better.
like cheap see-through beer.
Yeah.
I'm not into IPAs and fancy stuff. Also, too, what's a basic bitch?
That's a term the kids are using these days.
I haven't heard that yet. I want to know.
It's usually referred to like white girls who like their little chai teas and specialty brands and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
bit of a kind of hipster thing, like a little, above middle class sort of, label. But yeah,
Got it.
so
I like it.
I'm happy to make fun of myself anytime. I mean, you guys can join in that as well.
You just opened the floodgates, bud.
That is awesome. Do you guys want to try any, or are you
No,
guys
I'm good, thank you. We're gonna make you finish all three of those.
Yeah.
We'll get this party
Tonight is going to get real interesting real fast. This chai tea one is actually pretty amazing. So make sure you stop down to Beer Boys. Tonight you can get a free Southern Tier glass with your purchase, and of course NFL football Sundays are back. They have 31 different TVs, so pretty much any game you can imagine is going to be there. And we also want to shout out to the V-Spot as well. They have live entertainment every night of the week. This week they have Jonathan Dressler tonight, Mike Doherty on Thursday, Mason Dixon on Friday, Nowhere Slow on Saturday, and DJ Huff is hosting karaoke on Sunday. And, of course, NEPA Scene Rising Talent, our open mic and talent contest is back. Our third week went really well yesterday, so thank you to all who came to that. We'd love to see more of you come out this season. We're giving away 3 big prizes instead of 1, so if you are, if you're a full band, if you're a solo musician, if you're a comedian, we want to hear from you. We would love to see you at that event. And we had a great time at the Steamtown Music Awards. I know you were there. I saw you. Did you get to go?
No, I didn't get to go. I went, I don't know, I guess 2 years ago?
Yeah.
2 years ago? That was a good time.
It's a really good time. I said, like the other day, it's like a family reunion, but one you actually want to go to.
Totally.
Because I've been to a few of my own, and I'm like, I don't know why I want to see half these people, but like this is always a really good time, and it's cool to see people. And I'm sure it's cool for the musicians too, because you guys probably don't see each other much at all, playing gigs on the same nights and stuff like that. I'm sure it's probably hard to get everybody together.
Right. Yeah, everybody's there at the same time, and mostly everyone was on bad behavior too. So
That's fun.
Generally the case when you get a group of musicians together.
Well, and the V-Spot only makes that worse because that's definitely a party bar.
Yes.
So they definitely encourage that.
Yeah.
And it did get pretty crazy, but it was a good time. All right, so let's go back to 1999. That's kind of when the band got going, but
Right.
and I don't want to tread too much water. If you saw, you guys were on Johnny's show, Alt Natives and Alt 92.1. But if you want to talk briefly about how you guys got together originally.
Yeah. Let's start off.
So we had a different version of Breaking Benjamin in the late 90s. Based out of Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, which is where all those original cats were from. We all went to high school together.
Yeah.
And then that band kind of dissolved, and Nick came down and started singing with us, and that became Strangers with Candy, and we started playing gigs. At that time, it's not quite how it is these days, but at the time there was all these great rock clubs in this town.
Yeah.
In Scranton and in Hazleton, actually. And
was that,
there was a
his
lot.
Cousins?
Yeah,
That's great.
there was a lot of places to work, and people would come out, even like on a Monday or Tuesday.
Thursday night, that Jimmy's place, we used to have
Right.
750 people there on a Thursday night, and it was like complete debauchery.
Yeah, we just started coming up to Wilkes-Barre and playing all these shows, and the band caught on really quickly.
Yeah.
I moved to Wilkes-Barre to play music, and I quit my day job, and I started doing that, and the rest is history. But yeah, cut to 20 years later, here I am. But
From there, we did
yeah,
Strangers with Candy went on to do that MTV contest,
Right.
which we ended up winning, and then from there we attracted a lot of label attention, and it was like almost instantly after that
Yeah.
show, almost overnight there was like
Like the next week.
labels calling us, like our management all the time, and yeah, it was like there was a lot of interest. So like right away, I think it was probably 3 months after that thing aired, we were signed to Universal, and we were starting to work on the debut record.
It's amazing what MTV could do for you. And you guys came like right at the end of that because
Yeah.
I mean, not maybe a few years later, it was like you couldn't see music
No.
on there if you tried.
It was like right at the tail end of the whole thing, and that contest was kind of. I remember them
before like
before-
American
yeah.
Idol, before all
Right.
that stuff.
I remember them saying that it was going to kind of be a test for some shows that were going to be like that coming in the future. And like in hindsight, you look back on it, it's exactly the American Idol layout. You know, the 3 judges and the
Yeah,
granted there was nobody like cutting you down if you sucked or anything like that.
right.
But it was still
Off camera.
Yeah, the basic concept was there. But yeah, and then from there, like I said, we signed with Lifer or we signed as driver. Or didn't I don't even know. We had so
They
many.
made us change
goddamn-
our name.
Yeah,
Yeah, so as Strangers with Candy, we had to switch the name, and we became Driver for a short instance because it was just at this point we were just like, all right, we were going through all these things. I don't even remember where it came from necessarily. We signed, and then there was another driver from Allentown, I believe, and I think we offered them.
Was it?
Yeah, we offered them some. I don't remember how much it was. I think I want to say it was like $10,000 or something. Like our management
Come on.
offered them.
Wow.
Yeah, and they wouldn't take it. They were like, nope, for a name, and they were just like a local band, like.
and obviously Driver went on to be
To be
world famous
humongous.
musicians. We all know Driver.
They were right
right?
in not taking that money, I guess. But yeah, so then we were like, oh no, we got to switch the name again. I mean, our reels from the studio, I believe, were all under Driver. We were booked as Driver. We did a song on this compilation, Take a Bite Out of Rhyme.
I
as
remember that.
Driver.
Actually, I have that CD sitting around somewhere.
Nice.
So
There's some
yeah,
good stuff on there.
the whole name change was kind of it was a big damper on a lot of
Yeah,
the
that-
momentum of the band at that time. I think
Right, because people are recognizing that.
Yeah, I mean,
name
after
from the
just
show.
winning a
Right,
show on
we did that
MTV.
MTV thing, and then that whole scenario took kind of the wind out of the sails.
Yeah, then we come out as Lifer. I don't know how people would ever.
They didn't,
Right.
they didn't
Put the
put 2
connection.
and 2
Yeah,
together.
yeah, that's true.
not
That
like
was
today.
pre-social media, pre all that stuff. So
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to
yeah,
get
there was
the
a bit
word
of a
out.
disconnect there.
And there was a TV show, Strangers with Candy. I'm
Yeah,
assuming
right.
that's the idea. Stephen Colbert got his start on that show.
Really?
Oh, yeah?
That was like him back in the day. He was like a minor character on the show, but I remember it existing, and I don't know why. Like it had nothing to do with that. I'm not sure why they had to use that name or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But yeah, that's fine. And then you had mentioned on John's show about and the album comes out and 9/11 happens and that kind of takes
yeah,
takes the winds out of the sail too.
Yeah. So there was a couple things that
Perfect storm.
made it. Yeah. Right. So I think the album came out in late August, of, 2011 or 2001. Sorry. Yeah, and then that happened, and obviously that changed the whole world,
Right.
changed everyone's personal lives. Not, besides the initial tragedy of the whole thing, the ripple effect was humongous.
People were kind of weird going
for
out
younger
to
people that
places and
yeah,
Sure.
for younger people out there that weren't even maybe not even alive when that happened. It was heavy.
Yeah.
On
Yeah, it's
so
more the
many
vibe,
levels.
like just the whole vibe of the country just kind of changed.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
for us personally,
We're doing this
band,
heavy music where
we
it's
were out,
kind of
we were out
angry.
there like hollering at the mics and
Yeah.
jumping around and smashing stuff and playing this heavy music, and it was
Yeah.
it just didn't it felt weird
Yeah,
for us personally because of that, professionally or whatever, I guess I should say.
Right.
It put a damper on things. Plus, it was hard for a label to be out there pushing you. I think the whole entertainment industry took a back seat to world events and what was going on, as it should have.
Right.
But that was
we
the
were
time
we were
were
one of
supposed to
the
be
casualties of that
record.
That was our record just came out, and we were out on tour, and we were trying to push it, and the whole entertainment industry, like I said, took a
Everyone's like,
bit of
not
a
now,
dip.
guys. It's like, what do you mean not now?
So between the name
Yeah.
change and that, and some other factors, we kind of, we put out a single out, and it wasn't like a huge hit. It was like a mild hit at, whatever, active rock or whatever. But, so,
circumstances,
Yeah.
That's how it is.
I was a few years younger than you guys, but I mean, I remember being a heavy metal kid in school, and I was like the only metal kid in my class. So, instantly, especially when Columbine happened, and then, September 11th happened, and things like that, there was so much like, are you remotely angry, or you got to go to the principal's office?
Yeah.
Are you wearing black? You must be, you're going to be a serial killer. And it's like, well, I just like heavy music.
Do you
Like,
listen to Marilyn Manson?
yeah, exactly. I know a kid who had, came to school with that, and he had to like, turn it inside out, and not wear anything related to that. And the one teacher just had a vendetta for this kid, and just wanted him to get kicked out of school just for liking Marilyn Manson. It was just it was
It's
a
crazy
weird
that
time.
he took the brunt of a lot of that stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I mean, you could see. I mean, he's a shock guy, but you can't blame that on rock and roll. Solely.
Sure, and I don't think he was any worse than any of these other guys that came out, especially over the years. I mean, these same adults are like, do you forget who Alice Cooper was? Like, he basically just took his act and
Yeah, it's not
did
much
some
different.
similar stuff, know?
Yeah, he just modernized that.
Mm-hmm. But the one thing I think people don't realize today, growing up in the music scene, is like you were saying, that the places were packed in those days. Like the music scene was a very different place.
That's something that's hard to explain to younger people.
Yeah,
too,
they would go out and see anything as long as it was live. It was live music. It
Live and
wasn't.
loud. They
We
loved
would
it.
pack a place like
Any
on,
night
like,
of the
on a
week.
Monday or something.
Yeah. And it really wasn't just us. I mean, we had a lot of, there was a lot of people at the shows, but there was a lot of people out for all the bands around here.
Right.
That's the other thing, is there was 50 to 100 bands, like we were talking about the Weekender before, where it used to have like all the different bands that were playing on a Friday, Saturday, or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, it was like a phone book or the stuff, and it was just
And all the
so
clubs
many-
had a proper stage.
Yep, lights.
Yeah.
Almost all of them had permanent PA systems and a dedicated sound man
Yep.
in the works. So you'd roll in and do a proper gig with your whole band and drums and all the stuff. Now it's a lot more of acoustic-y things where you have to do everything
Set up
yourself.
your
Bring your own
PA,
PA, do everything.
stick, and
Right.
So there'll be a handful of folks there on any given night.
just trying to watch the game, not wanting to watch you play music at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say, a 180. It's totally different. It's nothing like it was 20 years ago.
And I blame that on the casino.
I definitely
I don't know if they're
think
your
that.
sponsor. Or
No,
anything.
not at all. even if they were.
No.
I always say we're a truly uncensored show. You can say whatever you want, even if I completely disagree with you. You could say it. So,
But yeah, I think like since that came in, there was all these different cool bars or coffee shops or things that live music went on, or different gatherings of people went on, and now all those smaller like mom and pop shop type places are gone because everyone's hanging out at the adult Walmart of fun around here, and you can't really blame people because you can go there and see multiple bands, you can see comedy, there's restaurants,
yeah.
but there's not that vibe. There's not like a dingy rock club. It's got like a little seediness to it, like those places used to exist, and there's just.
I also think too. I feel like rock music is I don't know why, but it's like slightly out of fashion at the moment, and it's like a lot of young people don't. that's not quite the same.
They don't like guitars.
Yeah.
Right, like that kind of music isn't as popular as it used to be.
And I even see kids, I don't think they know how to act when they go to a show because they just sit here with the screen in front of their face the whole time, like recording everything. It's like,
Yeah,
who
just
are you
watch it.
recording this for?
Live in the moment.
Yeah,
Just,
exactly.
Like, look at stuff with your
I'm
eyeballs.
not going to watch
and-
now so I can watch later.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and hear the crappy sound, you know,
Yeah.
because phones can't pick up good sound. So I don't understand what the point of that is.
No. Yeah, you got to get out there and experience like live music, and not just that, the social interaction of people. You know,
Sure.
I mean, like, I
Right.
feel like we're missing that as a society these days too. It's like everyone, yeah, we're connected, but we're just sitting at home talking to each other. It's like not,
Yeah,
which I guess that's better than not talking at all. Maybe,
sure.
but
But I think it also like the online kind of dulls the conversation in a sense. Like if I'm talking to somebody in person, I'm going to kind of watch what I say a little bit or say it more delicately if I have a harsh opinion or something like that. And online, it's like I don't care who's on the other side.
Yeah.
I'm just going to unleash, and it leads to this breakdown of communication where people are just yelling at each other, and it
Yeah.
doesn't really nothing is solved by that.
No.
You're not changing anybody's opinion. You're not getting anything across to anybody
Yeah.
because they're going to tune it out as soon as you put on the caps lock.
yeah,
I don't understand that at all. We did talk a little bit about that back when you guys were doing Stardog Champion. I remember you talking about the lead single off of that, and
yeah, it was
about
roughly
some of
based
that.
around that stuff, and it's funny that it's even more amplified from that period.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think now it's just completely out of control. There's everyone fighting, and I think you just need to delete those apps off your phone and just live
Yeah.
life again, like it's
Right.
like it's 1995. I don't know. Call us getting old, but I mean, I don't know. Times were definitely different. When you went out to the bar or wherever you went out to, gathered with people, your friends, and that's what you did, And now there's just, like I said, not social interaction at that level,
Right. But I mean, you guys are both still creating music. You're still
Yeah.
putting stuff out there. What drives you to keep doing it in that climate? Despite that environment.
Good question. For me, I'm just super passionate about music. Always have been. I love to create. I love to play. I love to play live. I love being in the studio. I love tinkering around with pedals at my house or what have you. But I'm always up to something. I always will be up to something.
Yeah.
Whether, it went platinum or sold 10 copies.
Platinum or cardboard.
Platinum or cardboard, there's no between you yet.
It's all fun to create.
So for me, I'm just always doing something. That's my spirit, is like I just want to create and do it. Right now I'm in a couple different projects. And this is, we, dusted off some of these old tunes and playing them. It's been interesting, and it's been interesting to listen to this Lifer record and see what I thought about. I haven't listened to it in quite some time.
Right.
Since I had to go back and learn the songs myself. There's probably someone out there that knew the songs better than I did. But
That's not
so
how
I
it
went back
goes.
to learn them on the guitar and reacquaint myself with where I was, whatever that was 20 years ago. It was interesting to hear it from a different
Your
perspective.
approach, how you approached then, how you would now.
Yeah.
Same thing, yeah, me too. Vocally, I haven't screamed in that time too.
Yeah.
17 years. So
Right.
the first time we got together, it was like, all right, I just kind of see if it would come out like that, and it
It was
didn't.
like,
it did not come out like that.
Now it's like,
ah. So after a little bit, it took a month or so to, I guess, muscle memory. The one day I was just kind of
Yeah.
singing
Yeah.
a song, and I just went into the way that I used to, and it just happened. I was like, oh, okay, there it is.
we had
I forgot where I put it. It's like
we had a rehearsal the other day for the show coming up this weekend, and he did a a good holler on one of the songs, and I was actually kind of scared. I was like, damn, dude, where'd that come from?
Depths of hell.
Well, if you don't do it right, you can wear your voice out pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's the other thing, it doesn't necessarily feel good.
Right.
I mean, I think even if you do it right, it's not.
Yeah, I'm sure there's wear and tear.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it doesn't sound pleasant, so
Yeah.
it can't be pleasant.
I would assume not, yeah.
It's not silky, isn't the way I would describe it.
So what was the impetus that finally said, okay, we got to get back together and play these songs again? Because I mean, for some people, it's like this was out of nowhere. Like, oh my God,
It totally was.
It was, yeah.
We've stayed in touch over the years, and we did the Stardog Champion thing, which was almost lifer.
Right.
It was
In
almost.
hindsight, we
was
should have called it
almost
life.
right.
We talked about that recently.
Yeah.
We've always remained friends over the years, whether we were working together or not. But it came out. I mean, he came to see me play with my own solo stuff like a month or two ago, and he had a show booked,
Somebody
and he was
called
like,
me
"Hey,
and
do you
asked
want
for
to?"
a show, like an acoustic show, and I was like, I didn't want to do it alone because I just, I was doing those. No, but I was doing those acoustic shows by myself for what seems like 100 years.
Yeah.
And there's just no vibe when you're. I mean, you've done them.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to sit there with an acoustic guitar and entertain people for 3 hours. It's just
Right.
Nobody wants to see. I don't care how good the guy is. Nobody wants to see a guy with an acoustic guitar for 3 hours.
And like we said, we both came from a place and time where we would play on a Monday and there'd be 5, 6, 7, 100 people there. So
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, obviously, playing with Breaking Benjamin, playing arenas and all this stuff, it is a bit of a mind fuck to come back and just play acoustic guitar in the corner.
Yeah.
Under with the game on the telly
By the
above your head.
dartboard.
So,
Right.
that is
Taking
somewhat
a
of
few
a
darts
hurdle.
while you're.
It is kind of, there's something humbling and therapeutic about it, but at the same time, it's, coming from where our background, it's a little bit strange. So basically, he just called me. He was like, "Do you want to come play
Yeah, let's do
acoustic?"
some lifer tunes. Let's just, instead of going to playing some covers or whatever we were going to do or whatever I was going to do, let's just book it as me and you. Let's do these lifer songs.
And then it's since then, in the last couple of weeks, it's kind of blossomed into something, and there seemed to be a lot of excitement about, the olden days, so to speak. So
yeah, everyone's like, "Oh shit, this is my jam," So we're like, "All right, people, if people are into it, why not play it?" You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's
Give the people
we
what they
like to
want.
play music, like he was saying before. We're just like creating or performing, and it feels way better when there's a lot of people that are interested in seeing what you're doing than sitting by the dartboard with the game above your head. You know what I mean? So we're like, let's do another one. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how it all came about. It wasn't planned, or it was not something that we even.
And then the
thought
show
about.
on Friday, an offer came across the desk to do this one. So, we're just seeing what happens, taking baby steps.
Yeah.
There's no real plans, no permanent plans or anything. We're just kind of having fun, and it's been a lot of. I mean, for me personally, it's been a lot of fun to like I said, dust off the old songs and kind of I'm playing stuff. I'm in my opinion, I'm a much better guitar player than I was, and musician all around, and songwriter and all that good stuff.
Sure.
Than I was back then. So I'm like, oh yeah, and I'm kind of like thinking like, why did I do that or this and that?
Yeah.
And some of the songs are a lot more interesting than I had remembered them since then. It's been fun to kind of dig into those tunes and figure them out and all that stuff. So
That's got to give you a different perspective now, looking back on it and trying to get back into that mindset. Especially, you're trying to put the emotion into these words that you wrote how many years ago.
I mean, a lot of them were like I was in high school when I wrote some of that stuff.
Right,
so
right. That's got to be
there's
strange.
angsty stuff. So like, but at the same time, it's cool. I can kind of, I don't know if it's a reminiscent type thing or whatever, but I seem to be able to put myself in that moment when it's happening. You know, like I feel like the songs start happening, and then that energy just kind of starts, and then I'm right back there. It's like time traveling, you know?
Yeah.
Fire up the DeLorean.
Are there things now that you would do differently with the band in terms of like musically in terms of how you did it then? Because obviously
like
if
there were new songs.
if you were
I think naturally they would sound
different today.
It would sound different.
Because a lot of new metal bands from that era still exist to this day. I think a lot of people think like it's this like very dated sort of thing, and some of it is. There's some of it doesn't hold up as well now, but a lot of it does, to the point where you still have bands on tour now. Guys like Seven Dust and things like that have been doing it a long time, and they've kind of evolved past that original idea. Yeah, right. Exactly, and they've changed and stuff like that. So,
right. Yeah, I mean, we haven't crossed that bridge yet, but it would be interesting to see if there was something.
Is that a conversation you guys have had?
Not yet. We just kind of play these two shows and we're having fun.
Yeah.
But, it would be. I'm sure it would be different for a million reasons.
Right.
Where all of us are. I mean, I think it filters into the music a little bit, but all of us are fathers now, and we're a hell of a lot more chilled.
I would think if we were to do it,
we're not as angry as we.
It would have to be a little angry, though. I think
you're right. You can get into that mindset.
I think we have to, because we've been doing albums that are far from that. So now maybe it's time again to like be able to take these angry thoughts or whatever these thoughts and be able to get rid of them on something,
He's been bottling stuff up.
Bottling all this shit up. So
absolutely.
No, I mean, I said when we were rehearsing the other day, when we were done, I was like, it's not quite the original lineup. It's some other cats in there and stuff. But, I turned to him and I said, this sounds pretty legit, man. Like, I probably wouldn't want to do it if I was like, dude, we don't have it like we had to. But, besides the fact that there's some different variables and some different guys in the mix, it sounded pretty good. And really good, his voice is in great shape. And so it didn't feel to me like a bunch of middle-aged men trying to like put on the tight pants again and button them up, it sounded good, and it wasn't like he was acting like, oh, I'm angry again and stuff. There was some realness to it, and I don't know. Just saying, like fun. I probably if we fired it up and it was like, man, shit, I don't even know how to play the guitar, and his voice is all shot and or whatever, I would just be like, that was a nice idea, but let's not ruin the way it was in people's minds. But it sounds pretty good. And honestly, in some ways, it's more mature, and we're all
we've all gotten better. So.
And him and I have never not been in the game, so to speak. So we're always constantly making music and have grown as artists and what have you. So in that regard, it speaking on just with me and him, it might even be. I know for me, I'm a way better guitar player, which is my job in this band is to be the best guitar player I can be than I used to be. So that's.
Like I said, I think we've all evolved as musicians, and in every facet of what we do, singing or he's singing, doing his own solo stuff now, and I'm playing guitar.
we switched. He's guitar. He's
singing.
As a guitar player, and I'm singing and writing my own songs and solo. So
we
We got bored.
Yeah.
Well, I meant what I said when I reviewed the show, the first reunion show that you guys did at Bart and Urby's. I mean, you guys packed the place, and the energy was just fantastic. And everybody, it felt very real. It felt very legit, like you're saying.
That's right. Yeah.
And it sounded great. It wasn't one of those things where it's like, oh, this is just a nostalgia thing. Like legitimately, these are great
Right.
songs. They're fun to listen to.
Yeah, most of the songs
They get people
when
going.
when I delved, similar words, right?
Yeah.
Back in the album, most of the songs, I was like, yeah, this is pretty good, man. Like honestly, it was better than I remembered it.
And that's the way it should be.
So, I like,
We've been having a good time playing it. Like, I could feel it at rehearsals and stuff. I feel like there's a cool energy there, and like, we're getting into it like we're kids. Like when, last night he's standing up on a box, rocking out. I mean, that's what it's all about. Playing with a group of guys or girls or whoever it is. Like getting together with the group and creating something that has a certain energy, and we've got an energy there. So.
Right. And that, that band was successful for a reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To be cocky for a second.
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
a good band.
Yeah.
You should be. Yeah, and that's the thing
we
too.
had some good tunes, and people came out to see us and hear him sing and whatever for a reason.
Right.
And I mean, it really did start also the whole scene of what happened around here and the whole heavy music. There wasn't heavy bands. I mean, there was some hardcore heavier
for sure,
bands
yeah.
playing before this, you know what I mean? But it seemed like all of a sudden there was a mainstream type, a lot of bands started playing.
When I came up here in the late 90s, I'm not from Wilkes-Barre, but I had actually never been to this town before I played here, but in my recollection, it was just kind of us and Three Stone Men were like the,
Heavy.
de facto heavy groups.
Yeah,
Right.
Everyone else was doing like Third Eye Blind and
Right, Top 40 stuff.
Blink-182 and just
Yeah.
safer type
So
of...
we would do shows with them and between the two bands.
It just had more of an edge to it, I think. And
Yeah, we were like the loud guys, I guess.
and we were rowdy, and we got really drunk, and
Right.
I mean, we were everything that a lot of these bands, like the Media 5, although we were Media 5, we ended up being a Media 5 band, but
Yeah.
there's just a lot of those bands. It's not that they're safer or they're just kind of taught to represent themselves in a certain fashion, and not to ruffle any feathers, and I think we were on
We
Media
didn't give a
5.
shit.
Yeah, we didn't give a shit about anything. Like they booked us our first show at Crocodile Rock in Allentown, and I remember launching pumpkins out the back out of this thing, right? And we get a phone call the next day. They're like, so what's up with?
Do we get banned for life?
We did. We got banned. We got banned for life. But it really wasn't for life. But we were back there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. And the first time I played back there again, I wore a Smashing Pumpkins T-shirt. But yeah, they had it all on videotape, which I've never seen. I've had employees from there being like,
man.
"Dude, it is the best thing." Like you're like looking around and then launching these pumpkins everywhere, all over the park.
You.
It was me. And there's a couple of us. But I was on the camera for sure. They're like, dude, you walked right in and you're like looking right at the thing. I didn't see the camera, obviously. It was like night vision.
Right.
Oh, man. So, yeah. If somebody has that tape, please upload it to
Please.
YouTube.
Oh boy.
That'd be a great thing to see. But,
Today, everybody would have had their cell phones in the air. It was
Yeah.
very different in that time.
well, the thing is, there was no one even watching. Like, this was all strictly for our pleasure.
Right.
Smashing Pumpkins for our pleasure.
You get away with a lot of Crocodile Rock. I remember a lot of shows.
Yeah,
that
That was
were
a great.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
proper.
It
rock
was.
club.
You got so many good bands coming through there, and we had the Staircase and a couple other places like that here. And we don't have that around here today.
Staircase was a great
places that would get those like mid-tier bands or those bands.
Right.
They're not packing an arena, but they could pack a club easily.
It's like you're either at the arena level or set your acoustic guitar up in the corner.
Right.
There's like hardly any in between stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Market Street Square used to be great back in the day.
That was a great spot.
Oh yeah.
I saw Paul Stanley there back in.
The
back
Voodoo
in the day.
Lounge was a great spot.
Yeah.
Like Chevelle was there.
Yeah.
Chevelle and. I mean, that's actually where we met Cold. We opened up for Cold there back before we even got signed.
Okay.
And that's. So remember, Terry left his guitar, and we hung on to that guitar until we ended up going on the road with Cold after we signed in Lifer. And we're like, hey man, we still have that guitar you left behind. So when we showed up, he was like, oh my god, I don't believe
That's
you
amazing.
didn't sell it or something.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Yeah, Tony hung on to that. So, yeah.
Speaking of Tony, he did comment before I saw. He didn't tell me there was going to be beer. I'm on my way down. There's plenty here for you, man.
There's 2 left.
Yeah, right.
He's nursing that one over there.
I am. I'm trying. I'm
This chai tea pumpkin.
I know. I'm like with my little pinky out over here. We did get a couple people saying new music, new life. We touched on that kind of briefly. So it's kind of a wait and see kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
See, feels right.
Let's see. Erica Benicki asked, is Friday's show going to have the entire original band lineup? Well, we don't want to make that clear. It's three original members.
It's me and Aaron
And
and Tony, who is the DJ, is going to be playing drums.
Right.
It's the same lineup of how we just played this acoustic show. Mike Morgan played with us in Stardog Champion there, and he played for the Drama Club. He used to be in Panacea. So yeah, the 4 of us, the same lineup that we just did, Bart and Urby's, but this time it's going to be, no acoustics, full on rock and roll, loud, big stage type of thing.
As it should be, so we're very excited for that. Jimmy Coupland said, saw you guys at Tinks in 2001 many times. What was your favorite spot in NEPA to play back then?
Well, that was a good one. Around here.
I mean, Tinks was kind of our...
Tinks was good. I thought I always had fun at the Voodoo Lounge.
Yeah.
It was good. Because that was a big space.
Big square room.
Big stage. Proper PA. The works.
We always had a lot of fun at Tinks.
Tinks was good. The only gripe with Tinks is we always had was there's right where the lead singer.
That pole,
right where the lead singer goes, there's a pole.
You can ask.
Other than that, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was perfect because you had
even like bigger bands that would roll into town with the tour buses and shit.
Yeah.
The guy would come out all like ready to rock. And there was like a big pole right there, dude. It's like, you can't. It's hard to make that look cool. I don't care.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are.
Other than that, it was an amazing club.
Upstairs at Tinks, like the very, very upstairs. It's like that huge warehousey type thing.
Yeah.
Were you ever up there?
The dance club, like way up.
No, there's like above that.
Yeah, there's like an attic kind
There's
of
like
area,
this huge
but it's like it looks like a warehouse.
It's got to be. You could fit 5,000 people in there.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy, and there's a stage set up in there too. Yeah.
The only problem with that is it's they need to like renovate it because it's super hot in there. Like, it gets real
there's all
hot
kinds
real
of shit
fast.
laying all over, but
Right.
I mean, as far as space and what could be done with it, for sure, it's cool.
Absolutely. Would love to see something like that.
And there were some other cool clubs we played around. Like
Jitterbugs was always fun.
Jitterbugs, which became Club Excess.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy's we used to play. That was kind of like our Thursday night spot that it just used to get wild there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played. We played all over and shit got wild. Broken Bones and Riots.
Let's see. Kaylee said, I was at the show with Godsmack not long after 9/11. Nicholas Hoover, if you all recall, I took Aaron to see Fuel and introduced him there to Nick. We were playing at Cleopatra's Needle with Jeremy Hummel.
Yeah.
Was that your band?
Yeah, Nick Hoover is the original bass player of Breaking Benjamin.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Who was the guy who called me when Ben left,
Yeah.
and I had played in a band, that Cleopatra's Needle, with him and Jeremy Hummel, who was the original drummer.
I didn't
of
know that's what it was called.
Yeah, the original drummer of Breaking Benjamin. So it's kind of...
And those were all the guys. The original lineup, the original Breaking Band we all went to high school together.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's the four of it, yeah.
So yeah, it's
It's amazing how long that's lasted. Jesus.
it's been an incestuous... he would always just swap dudes out.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Lori Zimmerman, I'll never forget the girls going crazy over Nick at middle school dances.
Oh no.
I could see that. You're
There-
a handsome
Did
devil.
you have
I don't-
long hair?
I did. There was a show we did in middle school. I can remember. I don't know what it was for. I want to say it was like Operation Yellow Ribbon or something. This is going back in the 90s.
Okay.
I was in probably 7th or 8th grade, and we were playing like Warrant tunes and Skid Row songs.
Nice.
But it was all packed in there. I mean, and there was like all these little girls, and they were all about me. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, I was 13, so it was allowed.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
sure.
I mean? And that was one of the starts. So I was like, yeah, this is something I got to do.
You knew you were a rock star
Yeah.
way back when.
They were throwing bras on the stage in 7th grade. I was like, all right, this is awesome.
Let's see. Corey Kime says, will Butch Feist be emceeing the event again?
Possibly.
Yeah, he got more airtime than anybody else. That was fun.
That was a lot.
He's been a good. He was at damn near every show back in the day that we played around here.
Yeah.
He's been a friend of
I
the
mean-
band. He was a friend of the band since pretty much day one.
Yep.
Preston Fish says, are you ever going to record your rendition of Take On Me?
You know, it's funny. We did record that, and it didn't.
It sounded like shit.
Yeah, it didn't turn out well for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
So we shelved it.
We actually did it for that Not Another Teen movie.
Is that what it was for?
Yeah, it was supposed to be for that
Okay.
movie, and we went into a studio in Atlanta when we were on the road. And like he said, for whatever reason, it just
sound right.
didn't
So
sound
we
good.
just can't shelved it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it now. Do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. We were kind of when we played that MTV thing. That seemed to be the song that
Yeah, that
people
was.
would talk to us the most about.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we made it completely different than the Aha version.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seemed like it should have worked recording it. I mean, I don't know what it was. It was a bad mix though too. And I mean, nowadays, if we had all those tracks, we could shine that up to sound like something. But
It's not a big deal. I mean, bands record stuff all the time. It just
it doesn't work. Yeah.
Sure.
It doesn't see the light of day. That was just one of those things. But that brand name Stranger with Candy was kind of known for that cover song.
Right.
But again, when we changed the name, all those links to the other thing kind of went out the window. So there's a lot of things that kind of got disconnected with the name change.
How did you
even like doing this interview? It's funny. I saw that you headlined it as Lifer.
Strangers with Candy? Yeah, exactly.
People, because
there's some people I think maybe that still to this day might not make that connection.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because and people's memories are fuzzy too. Sometimes you need that one little thing. Like you see that all the time. People share something, commercial on Facebook that you saw maybe 30 years ago on TV, and you're like, oh man, I didn't even know I remembered that, but now I remember it. You know, so it's like trying to jog people's memories, about that kind of stuff. Because you might forget all about that. I mean, when I was a teenager, 20-something, going to shows and stuff, there's plenty of stuff that I remember that sticks out, and then there's stuff that years later, it's like, I don't remember it until I talked to somebody who was at that show and was like, yeah, and then the guy jumped off the balcony. I'm like, oh man, I totally forgot about that,
Yeah.
Till you said it. Now it makes sense, and you should remember something like that, and you don't. How did you choose those covers? Like, how did you pick those songs that you were going to do? Because
For the MTV thing?
Yeah.
We had a repertoire of cover. We were never a cover band, per se. We always played our own stuff, but to win people over, you throw them a little bone.
Yeah.
Throw them something that they are familiar with, and then they can latch onto that, and then they can kind of be like, oh, that's cool. And then they hear your song, and they kind of put two and two together, and that's how you start to create, like...
Right.
Doing, like...
a genuine...
songs that sound almost like the songs, like bands that would go well with what we were
trying
doing.
to do at the time. Right,
So it's not like...
I think we just kind of... I don't remember.
The MTV...
I think we just kind of picked four that we
MTV
played
actually
live,
had, like...
And we knew that when we played them live, based on experience, we knew that those seemed to be like hits with the audience, I think.
There was certain... I know, like...
Unless we had to do a pop... I forget. If
There
we
were
had to do a
certain
pop.
rounds, and they gave us kind of like... Not that they gave us choices, but they kind of told us what they were looking for. So for guerrilla radio, they wanted something that was rock, and they said the more current that it was, the better. So we picked that, which was on TRL at the time.
Okay, disregard my story. He apparently knows what actually happened.
He doesn't remember.
I just say we threw darts at
Like, yeah, we just did whatever, just picked them out. No, it was a little more calculated, because we had to work them down to being 45 seconds to play them. So it was like,
Sure.
what's going to go over the best that sounds like that, and then I think the reason we chose Nookie was the same reason, too, because it was on TRL, and, that was popular at the time. And then for the other two, we're like hip-hop, we did Jump Around. So that was the only real hip-hop song that was a proper hip-hop song, I guess, if that's even really a proper hip-hop song.
Yeah.
So, like, we were like, all right, Jump Around, and then they said pop, and that's what we were... Let's do Take On Me, that's pop, right?
Yeah.
And when we told them that, they're like, that's brilliant! So, we're like, all right, that's it.
It's one of the songs everybody knows the lyrics to, so
Yeah.
you're good to go. Now, one of the things that I touched on in the review, and I want to make sure that I touch on now, is, you guys have done, obviously, so much since then. You guys have current projects that, are really impressive and definitely worth your time. And I think people maybe get too much, they get clouded by nostalgia, and they're like, everything was better when I was a kid, and everything's better when I was younger, and stuff like that. But there's so much great music going on now, too, that I think people should pay attention to. How did you get into Coyle? Because Coyle is, they're based all the way on the other side of the country.
He found the guy's guitar in the back of the That's how.
That's it. All these years later, it's still.
Really, we played that show, and Scooter and I had hung out that night.
Yeah.
And then we ended up doing one of our first tours we did in Lifer was with Cold and Dope. And
So you stayed in touch?
So we stayed in touch from that time, yeah,
Wow.
and always over the years, every year or so we'd stay in touch. And then again in the Drama Club, he took us out and we did a tour with the Drama Club, and Cold reunited in 2009. So then again we just stayed in touch, and it's always been that. And I guess it's been about 2 years now. He hit me up, he's like, how do you feel about playing guitar for Cold? And I was like, yeah, I'm down, let's do it. you
Yeah.
know? So in January of last year, went out to Phoenix with them, and we started working on the new record, and we're still working on it. He's actually finishing up some vocal stuff right now, and we're really close to having it done, so it should be out.
Oh, so you're going to have a new album out?
New album out in the next few months.
That's awesome.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you play guitar in the drum club? Like, how did he know that you were such a good guitar player?
I think he just took a shot.
You just like, dude, I'm the
best guitar player. Trust me, dude. I'm the best you'll ever hear now.
Yeah, it's funny. I always tell people, from those of you guys at home, he's like a secretly amazing guitar player. And it's always I mean, he's a great singer too. So, but in this band, in Lifer, he never played guitar.
Right.
And some of the other bands he's in, but like anybody that knows him personally or something, it's like he just has this like secret hidden talent that rarely comes out. That'll be cool.
Yeah, it's fun to be able to play.
In the band Cold.
Yeah, it's fun to be able to write and to, because I do a lot of recording where I'm playing all the stuff and I'm doing the guitars and the bass and all that stuff. But it's going to be cool to actually just focus on the guitar. I've never had to just do that before, so it's it's like a little challenge, and it's going to be something new and fun. Because I've been singing for 30 years now. And playing guitar. I've been playing guitar since I was 10 years old. So it's been a long time since I've been playing guitar. For whatever reason, I've always just became the lead singer.
Yeah.
And then it always seems like when the band was starting out, I would play more guitar. And then it'd be like, oh, you should just sing, man, because you need that front guy thing, So
right.
We've had that with
and
management.
You're good at that.
Yeah, and people have always said I've been a good front man.
There are guys that sing and they don't quite look right without the guitar, or vice versa.
Right.
Like, one of my dudes is Robert Plant, and you'll see him with a guitar, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. You know what I mean? Some guys are just, made to, or like, I don't know, does Gavin Rossdale take his guitar off something?
Probably not.
Some guys you think of them with the guitar and the voice. Some guys just think of just the voice.
James Hetfield.
He looks
weird when
every now and then he'll just sing it. It's weird. You're just kind of used to one thing, or some guys have that, whatever their vibe is. But
sure.
So yeah, it's kind of became like that. Like, whether it be the band that pushed me to be the front guy, and just like, dude, don't worry about playing guitar. Just do that part.
That sounds like something a guitar player would say.
So it was probably Aaron.
It was probably me. No.
Don't worry about that. I'll take care of the guitar. You just go out there and.
Honestly, though, but you're the kind of singer frontman that like rules the stage. You're not just like shy and mopey.
Yeah.
He's out there
moving around and
working it. You know what I mean? And working the crowd. He does a lot of crowd work.
I work on my crowd work.
But he's like, a proper old school type frontman. So like, it does make sense in whatever sometimes in situations not to play the guitar.
Right.
Because it definitely does. When you're fronting a band, it hinders you and slows you. You got to think about.
Yeah.
Oh, am I gonna hit the pedal at this part? I gotta hit this. I gotta worry about that effect.
And when you're playing guitar, you're a slave then to being at the mic with your guitar. You're a slave to that almost. Whatever, you can just run around and jump off the stage and shit without a guitar. So.
Yeah.
Right. But I love what you're doing with Death Valley Dreams too. Definitely worth a plug as well. You guys should be listening to this band. They're so good. Are you guys doing anything currently with that? I know you guys worked on the Baby Frankenstein soundtrack.
Yeah, we did some stuff with that. Johnny Nova and I write stuff all the time. We talk all the time, and he's actually the second guitar player in Cold. So I got him in on that too. So. And we're just kind of working through this Cold stuff right now, and who knows what happened with Death Valley Dreams. We wrote a bunch of songs. He wrote a bunch of great songs, like a lot of that, a lot of the stuff that we had released were all songs that he had written. So that's kind of like he wrote a lot of the lyrics, most of the lyrics, and I did a lot of the drum work actually, and the mixing and the more technical ends of the stuff. But we worked good together in that. It was a different style, kind of throwback to, I don't know, like some 80s new wavy type stuff. Or,
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's fun, and like he said, it's just all about creating music and trying different things and creating. I just like making music with friends and, you know, swapping energies and all that good stuff.
Ooh.
So you prefer being in a band and swapping energy, so to speak.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing in a band as opposed to
As
solo.
opposed to, yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, solo's fun to an extent of. Solo's the kind of thing you do when you're at your house at midnight, you know, when no one else is around, and,
Right.
and you want to play some keyboard, and you know, you start layering in tracks, and then it turns into something.
Sure.
But, you know, the whole reason that I started playing music is because it's fun to hang out with a group of guys, and the whole joking, and, you know, it feels like a team, and,
Yeah.
you know, so I don't think that can ever be replaced with solo stuff. You know, solo's just sticking around, really. I think.
Well, you've been doing some solo stuff, but you also have a
Yeah.
full band that you play with too.
For the live
live
situation.
stuff, yeah. In the studio, it's basically you.
Yeah, I'm not swapping too much energy.
That's swapping energy.
And then you know,
It's
live
mostly
you get
me.
the
I have a
band.
couple guys come in here and there and help me out with some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been having fun with that. Like you said, it's apples and oranges.
Right.
There's pros and cons to both. For me, probably some of the reason I do that is because I felt like creatively I had to get some stuff out, you know, that I couldn't in prior situations or whatever. Plus, for me, I like all kinds of music. So, with my solo stuff, I'm interested in like doing different things. It doesn't have to be when you're in a group that everyone's personality and everyone what they can or can't play kind of shapes the sound of the group, and then you kind of get a game plan together and stick to that. With my solo stuff, I have no game plan whatsoever. So there's a beauty to that. There's a danger to that as well, because I'm sure I'm too far off the leash and certain I don't know. But I'm just having fun with that, and I don't have anybody telling me like, you know, don't do that or that. You know, I'm just kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
that's what I was feeling, and I kind of like, I think I you know, I write stuff and listen to it for a while before I actually put it out. So I'm not just like recording it and then just I think about what
Sure.
I want. You know, I don't know, whatever.
You've been playing long enough too, where it's like you kind of know decisions of you self-produce yourself. You know. It's
Yeah.
weird.
And for that, I'm just trying to like do what I think are interesting rock songs. I don't really care too much about like impressing people with fancy guitar shit.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yes.
I mean, I do. I yeah.
That solo and cult of personality is like the most impressive.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can play the guitar, but I'm not the kind of guy that like I need people to
No.
always be like, dude, you're so. Or I'm not like, you know, I don't.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not my style. Is to like, you know, put out YouTube videos of me like whacking off on the guitar.
Right.
It's just not me.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of musician that always plays whatever's best for the song or the group that I'm in.
Yeah.
I to me would rather be like on a winning team than be like a
Star
hero.
quarterback or
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't know. Like right. I don't know. So I try to fit in with whatever I'm doing. I focus in and try and figure out what's good for that situation or group. I guess kind of like an actor would do. Like if you're in a movie, I mean, a good actor, I think, you know, gets almost invisible with what he's doing, and you forget about who you know, when I don't know if Tom Cruise, I guess he's an actor that I like, but I don't know why he came up. But like, when I go to see him in a movie, I don't picture the guy that was doing cartwheels on Oprah's couch and say, you know, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he kind of assimilates in he's probably a bad example of what I'm saying. You know, I don't even.
The way like Johnny Depp maybe used to be, maybe not so much now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Also with the solo stuff too, I like playing the instruments. You know, I like writing drum beats and playing that and sussing it out.
Okay.
But a lot of it actually is about the lyrics. I really enjoy writing lyrics and getting that side of it.
Is that something you haven't done before until this project, or did you kind of contribute here and there to other stuff?
Like I've been successful as a guitar player for a long time now. So a lot of songs I would start and not finish them because I didn't have to.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been in bands with other great songwriters, or you write stuff collectively as a group, or this guy writes a riff here, and this guy, the singer, writes the lyrics, and whatever, the drummer writes the drum beats. So I've always been like writing stuff. I wrote songs in my high school band and stuff. I'm sure they were terrible, but I've always written stuff, but I was never a fully formed, proper songwriter where I wrote the whole song, chords, melody, lyrics, everything, and put it all together in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Until 7, 8, 9 years ago, when I really, felt a little bit more mature as a musician and wanted to explore some different stuff. Dude, I love playing guitar and being just like a guitar player in a band, but there's other sides to me that I wanted to kind of get out there. So whatever.
And like Stardog too was, he wrote a lot of lyrics and stuff in that band.
Oh,
there
cool.
was riffs that I wrote guitar, so we passed things back and
We
forth.
swapped energies.
Yeah. We swapped energies. But it's cool, because then, you get different perspective on what, of the same song. You get.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get locked in your own little ways.
Right, like I would write a song and sing it
Yep.
and send it to him, and then in the end, he would sing the song. I mean, some groups work like that. There's a lot of groups actually that, the guitar player writes a lot of the stuff, and then the singer actually flushes it out to the public, and then
Sure.
he's the hero.
Yeah, right.
There's an Oz guy behind. I'm not saying it's like that, but like a lot of bands, there is like an Oz type character.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who,
The man behind
is the creator, and then the public sees it as
As one entity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's. We got to wrap up, which sucks because I'd love to continue the conversation. I just
You
want
only
to
drink one. You didn't even drink.
I didn't even
one of those.
To be fair, this is a much
That's
larger
not to be
can than a normal can of beer. This is like 3 or 4 cans. in one
Axl
shot.
Rose, man. Like 1987, this place would have been turned upside down. Beer
See,
bongs.
I write about rock bands. I interview rock bands. I am not. I'm like the lamest guy. you
Yeah,
ever
we're
fucking
sitting
wanna
here
be.
saying how wild we used to be in here.
Right, you guys are both
So,
nursing waters there.
You guys don't want to see me on those. Maybe they do.
on those pumpkin beers, on
Yeah.
those basic bitch pumpkin beers.
Yeah. I'm no basic bitch.
I learned a new word today, basic bitch.
You did. That better become a song or something.
Yes.
I could see that. I'll blow through a couple of comments real quick and we'll head out. Have you ever heard the cover of "Take on Me" by Emil Bulls? Pretty awesome and heavy cover. I'll have to check that out after the show.
Who was first?
I would assume you guys. Wayne
All right.
Sorbelli,
Here's this royalties.
my wife Jamie and I have been faithful followers of you guys, and you have an overwhelming influence on the music scene.
Oh, thank you.
Cool.
Let's see. Anybody else? Sean McAfee, there was a reason Drowning Pool sold so many albums in the area and had that free show at the Gallery of Sound. I remember that
was
show.
at that show.
I was there too.
You know, that's the first concert my son ever saw. He was like
Peanut.
a year old or something. I took him to that. So I remember that because I was walking in one of what's like it called like it's like a little backpack for a kid.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Kid.
With the little like front pouch
Yeah, the
thing there.
front thing. I used to carry my son around in that.
Yeah.
And we went to that.
And that was the original singer.
Yeah.
Before he passed
What
away.
I remember about that is the guy came out with a shovel and he would like
Yeah.
on the big hits of the song. He
Oh,
would
yeah.
smack the shovel. He would play
Oh,
like a
right.
shovel.
Yeah.
We did a
like-
show with them in Virginia.
He was-
Yeah,
the
the
song.
same.
I sang the song with them.
Oh,
that
nice.
night, yeah,
Yeah.
it was like right when they were first starting to break.
It's the only shovel player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right.
God rest.
There was a local band that would play a keg sometimes. They would
Okay.
bring out like a
Well,
bat.
didn't
Slipknot
Slipknot used to do
Yeah,
that?
Slipknot
yeah.
did the same thing. Yeah. And what was the? Oh, Kay Lee asked, "Are you kids playing music?"
Kids playing music? No, not really.
Not, yeah.
She's not really into.
Yeah.
She just started getting into. She actually listens to Panic at the Disco now, so, which she hasn't really been that interested in music. She's good at it. She's in the choir. She's in things like that, and but it's not something you want to force on people. You know what
Sure.
I mean? Like, so I think music's something that you have to find yourself, and then when you do, it becomes this real personal thing, and then that grows into all the little things that you love about music. So like
Right.
you know what I mean? Like I've kind of purposely not tried to stick things that I like, oh, you should really listen to this. I do every now and then, listen to this, and she's like, that's gay. That's not
Listen to
good.
this Warrant album.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called Cherry Pie. This is a great song. You're gonna love it.
Right.
Yeah, my son doesn't play anything either. I tried, I bought him instruments and stuff, but it's just not as...
Might be early yet. I interviewed a guy, Grant Williams, a few times. A great local musician, great local bassist. And he said his father always tried to push it on him, so he purposely went out of his way to not play
That's what
because
I'm
his
talking
father
about.
pushed on
I
it.
never wanted to
And then
do
after
that.
he passed away, he felt like he kind of he wanted to do it in honor of him, and then ended up really liking it and kind of regretted that a little bit and I wish I he could have seen me play and stuff like that. And you should look him up; he's great. But
There's also a little factor, I think, of no matter what your dad does, it's not.
yeah, it's not
not
yeah,
cool.
yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of that, I'm sure.
Sure.
So it's funny.
Yeah, because she definitely does not think
You're
that
cool.
the lifer was cool. She's like, you guys are old or something. I don't even know.
It was maybe
Wow,
that
we were
time,
so cool. You don't even know how cool we were.
right?
Are. I'm cool, damn it.
Well, make sure you see these guys this coming Friday.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that you guys are going to do tons of shows after this. This is one of those things you got to check out. That's why I went to the other show, because I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen again.
We're
So
volatile. It's
yeah,
I don't
so
know either.
make sure that you guys go to the show. It's Friday at the Scranton Iron Furnaces. It's an outdoor show. If the weather's bad, they're going to move it to the Leonard Theater, which is right up the road in downtown Scranton. Behind the great band. Send Request, who we've had on the show, great band. And These Idle Hands, which all three actually we've had on the show at one point or another. So they're all great bands. They're all really diverse acts, very different. I think maybe Behind the Gray is kind of closest to what you guys do, but still not. You guys are obviously doing something else, completely, and have a sound that's obviously lasted this long that people still want to listen to it. I mean, the reaction was great to that original show. The place was packed. So I'm
it
really
felt
curious
good.
to see
It felt good.
the show coming up.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys are looking forward to playing a full electric show like that.
Yeah, definitely. All plugged in and loud.
Yeah.
I like it.
Especially outdoors. That should be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice space too there for anybody that knows the Iron Furnaces. It's like a really cool.
Yeah. It's cool that they're finally doing
Natural,
shows there.
Like, seems like a no-brainer to have a concert there.
He said
And I've seen other bands play there. It's nice.
It's kind of got that Steel Stacks vibe, you know.
Yeah,
It's got the
very much
industrial type. Be cool if they could really like light that up and accentuate the whole thing of that, because it's cool.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on.
Hey, man, thanks for having us.
Taking the time to hang out with us. Thank you all for tuning in. We had a ton of great viewers tonight. Some great questions, some great comments. Popko said, "See you guys Friday." Popko will be there. I'll be there. We'll be taking photos again. Maybe we'll have some video too. But thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on Friday.
All right, thank you.